Hey everybody, Matt Johnston, Matt the lawyer, back with another COVID-19 legal update. This one is about questions that I've been starting to get about salaried workers. So there's a number of clients of mine, and I'm starting to see it pop up in other places where employers are considering changing their salaried employees to hourly workers and then cutting back on the number of hours that would be worked by that particular employee. This sounds like a really attractive way of keeping people employed, but also helping a business manage its cash flow and do those sorts of things. My advice, don't do it. And there's a number of reasons for that. The first reason is that there are some very significant knock-on, follow-on consequences that come with reclassifying an employee, or more specifically, reclassifying a job from a salaried position to a hourly position. So if you don't know the differences between exempt and non-exempt employees and what exemptions are common that create a salaried person, I strongly recommend you check out some of the blog posts that I'm going to link to below in the description and review those, and then come back to this video so that you can have a little bit better understanding. So as a general rule, the Department of Labor does not like seeing a lot of jobs being classified and reclassified and shifting back and forth to take advantage of what they're going to interpret as some loopholes or some gray areas of the law. This is one of those areas where an employer could, in theory, reclassify a job from salaried to from exempt to non-exempt, so from salaried to hourly work. But the dangers of doing so create a different level of problem, because it's not the issue now, it's the issue in 8 weeks when you want to bring those employees back and put them back on a salary. Creates some problems. So the first of those problems is that if you're going to reclassify the job, you have to sort of think about what the job duties are. And reclassifying that job raises a couple of important questions. First of all, what's going to be your response to employees when they say, well, wait a minute, I worked 50 hours a week for the past 3 weeks, and now you're changing me to hourly, cutting my hours. Do I get overtime pay for those extra time? Probably not. And they're going to, not unreasonably, be upset. But that is one of the risks that you run. Misclassification of employees runs the risk of two levels of liability. The first is to the employee themselves. They may want some back overtime pay. They may now be ineligible for certain kinds of benefits but want to keep those benefits. The other is your liability to the state and federal taxation. See, your employer side payroll taxes are based upon how much you're paying somebody. And if you pay overtime, your employer side employment taxes go up a little bit. And so you wouldn't have paid those employer side payroll taxes. Now you are, all kinds of things get a little hinky, lots of red flags start popping up everywhere. So you're going to want to be careful about doing this. So the other situation that you may be looking at, depending upon the state that you're in, you could have some additional headaches revolving around what are referred to as wage theft laws. Those wage theft laws say that, well, if you had misclassified an employee as salaried when they should have been not salaried, so if you classified them exempt instead of non-exempt, you could be on the hook for up to triple damages and a few other things to go in there. So don't make a bad situation that you're facing now worse by trying to change the classification. If you feel that changing the classification is appropriate, please do not change a thing until you talk to a qualified employment lawyer. Call me, call another lawyer. Don't make this change without consultation. Please, it's too much of a risk. But, Matt, you may be asking yourself, what can I do? Well, if your employee is willing to do this, you could reduce the salary. See, in order for somebody to be qualified as salary, they have to have a job duty that qualifies them. They have to receive a fixed payment that does not fluctuate based upon the quantity or quality of their work. So as I've been telling people, if you work even a few hours in a week, that salaried employee is entitled to their full salary for the week. That's the trade-off if you have somebody working 50 hours a week and you're only paying them a fixed salary. So the minimum salary level is $684 a week before taxes. Now, you're going to want to have a discussion with your employees. You're going to want to get this employment matter in writing, and you want to afford your employees the opportunity to speak to independent legal counsel of their own choosing to make sure that they're not being taken advantage of. Okay, you're going to want to document this understanding. Okay, and in theory, you could reduce the weekly salary of somebody to $684 a week and maintain them as a salaried person and still continue to, maybe you have to cut back on the hours, but it may help your cash flow. The other question that I got about salaried employees is whether or not they are eligible for unemployment if they are laid off. And the answer is yes. Now, this doesn't apply outside the state of Maryland, but inside the state of Maryland, the weekly maximum benefit for unemployment insurance right now is $430 a week. Your salaried employee who is making $700, $800, $900 a week, or $1,000 a week, which is $52,000 a year, that is a big fat pay cut. So if you can figure out a way to keep your employees working, then I strongly encourage you to do so, particularly if you can continue to pay them a salary of $684 a week minimum. So, but otherwise, yes, salaried employees are eligible for unemployment benefits just like any other employee. Again, I know these are crazy times. I know this is not easy. This is a tough economic time and lots of decisions are being made. But before you start to reclassify employees, that is an exercise that should not be undertaken lightly, should not be undertaken without consulting counsel, and probably is not your best bet for managing your cash flow. In the meantime, stay safe out there, keep a positive attitude, wash your hands, practice a little social distancing, and I'll see everybody later. Bye-bye.